For me, I don't think we will come to this point that to have a machine that has intuition, self-awareness. This is also that to know that a robot knows that I'm here, I'm just a machine, because the machine have no soul. The big difference, at least, is a question of beliefs. I believe that humans have a soul, have their own personality, unique. I believe in that. So when you believe in that, for me as a scientist, it's impossible to believe one day that these functional tools will be similar to humans. They can look similar, they can be smarter in different tasks as us, for sure, and this very fast. But the rest is just fantasy. Myself, I don't worry, I never worried when I develop technology that the own technology I am developing will be dangerous. Because in my mind, I think that we should develop things for the wellness of the humanity. The problem is that over time, people think that, okay, if I take an army of robots and they can be walking and they can be strong and they are never tired, and you put them big guns, they can go ahead and suddenly destroy anybody. So the problem is the usage of the technology. I don't think the problem is in what scientists are developing. We cannot go against the development of knowledge and science, but we can control what we do. We have always to think that, are we doing this for what? Is it for developing? For developing? No. Is for the wellness of humanity. So we have to think, why do we need these tools with the technology developed, and try to be empowered by them and not destroyed by them.
Well, if you ask me, people who are working in the field are not too worried about it. It's a lot of hysteria. We think the popular media seems to portray AI being smarter than it is. What we see is that there is, or we know all along, there's a semblance of intelligence. So outwardly, it looks very intelligent, but this is in narrow areas. So if you look at driverless cars, Google is developing a car. The car needs very detailed maps. It needs GPS. It doesn't drive in the way the humans drive. So it's intelligent in an outward way, but actually there is no intelligence behind it in a human sense. So how do I mean by intelligence? You and I, when we do something or we learn something, we actually understand the task. We can do what we call task transfer. That is to say, if I learn something in this area, in one area, if I understand what goes on behind this, I can use the same knowledge to solve a problem in a different area. Machines cannot do that today. So if you want machines to be truly intelligent, they have to get beyond just mimicking intelligent behavior. They have to understand what they're doing, and they have to be almost aware of what they are doing themselves, so as to self-monitor. So we call this metacognition, and machines can't do that today. Humans learn common sense through a lifelong process of interacting with other people, experiences in the world. So until machines can be embodied with this kinds of ability to interact with the world, we are basically codifying things, I call it through a top-down process. We scour whatever is written, but by definition, whatever is written omits a lot of common sense. So we get common sense through people. We get volunteers to give us explanations of what happens behind the scenes in certain contexts. We do this through crowdsourcing. One example is a game. We created a game where we had volunteers play a game, and by playing the game, they actually design game worlds. So it's quite interesting for the person playing the game. They are motivated to design a game for other people to play, but by designing the game, we're actually tapping on their knowledge. They have to define what goes on in the game, what they're trying to achieve when a human does certain things. So this gives us background knowledge about our world, what goes on in the world. And so crowdsourcing is one way we try to harvest common sense knowledge. Other ways is that we tap on existing efforts by other people. So there are people who knowledge engineer, so they actually sit down, lots and lots of people, and these people actually then use formal logic to describe the world in logical terms. Well, if you ask me, not in my lifetime. It's really a very difficult problem. There are many, many hard problems to be solved to attain true understanding, to attain metacognition, that is to say, for machines to understand what they're doing. So I think probably you take, well, the last time when AI sort of was in its heydays, it was 50 years ago, and people were very, very optimistic and said, we'll solve the problem in 10 years' time. But they've soon realized that the problem is a lot harder. And the more we understand human intelligence, which is what we are making good progress right now. So in neuroscience, we're learning a lot about how human intelligence actually works. But we are very, very far even then in understanding human intelligence. So to me, it's still a lot of hard problems for machine learning, for cognitive scientists to understand intelligence before we can achieve that.
So I think, the tendency is to rely too much on the app to help you make decisions, right? That to the extent that you may forsake your own thinking, your own judgment, and that is not good. I think human beings have the innate capability to make decisions, to be creative, to think critically, and that aspect of it needs to be constantly reminded to ourselves, that we don't ever fall into the temptation of letting the machine take over our lives, so to speak. It is already happening. If you look at how people behave on the road, they are constantly looking at their mobile device and taking information from there. So I am actually quite worried that this bit about over-reliance is getting to be quite serious. Now, this is again different from the super intelligence that we're talking about. We are not talking about the machine, overpowering mankind here. But in a more subtle way, we are seeing that we are becoming enslaved to the device, which is not a good sign. I think that question shouldn't be whether we should be slowing down or speeding up. Because I think technology, whether it's AI technology or other technology, has always the good side and the bad side. I think the government, some country, the government encourages stem cell research, okay? But they will not do embryonic stem cell research. You see the difference, right? Because the latter has moral and ethical implications. I think those technologies are good in their own way, but we should also inform our students to think of the ethical, moral aspects of the technology. I think the onus is on us as human beings to exercise discernment, to be able to develop applications of that technology in a way that is socially and economically beneficial, and not run into the danger of the moral and ethical threats. So I think we should be discerning, and we should not let the bad aspects of AI hamper us from developing those technology.